Hi everyone, Miss Andronicus here, and today we are looking at dividing by a decimal. So starting with some strategies, of course, if you're dividing without a calculator, start by using a multiple of 10 to make the numbers integers, so to make them whole. And then use equivalent fractions to be able to then go and calculate. So having a look at the first example, okay? And we have a little rule. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. So let's have a look at this in action. 6 divided by 0.2. Now, dividing by 0.2 isn't as nice as dividing by other numbers. So instead, I want a multiple of 10. If I see that 0.2 there, what do I need to multiply it by in order to get it to be whole? And remember, when we are multiplying or dividing by 10, it means that that decimal place, wherever the decimal place is, either jumps to the right or jumps to the left, depending on your place values. In this case, multiplying this by 10 will make that decimal place jump one place to the right. So that essentially will make it whole. So I want to multiply it by 10. So that becomes a 2, okay, because the decimal jumps over it and it becomes 2. So 0.2 times 10 is just 2. This is where this rule comes into play. Remember, equivalent fractions, what you do to the bottom, you must do to the top, or what you do to the top, you do to the bottom. So if I did that to the bottom, I multiply the top also by 10. Okay, now because this is an equivalent fraction, if I've done the same thing to the bottom as I have to the top, all I then have to do is 60 divided by 2, which I know is 30. Okay, it doesn't matter if I then multiply it again and made another equivalent fraction. So 600 divided by 20, and that still equals 30. Okay, I could also say, 120 divided by 4 if I took 60 and multiplied it by 2 instead. Any equivalent fraction, you're always going to get back to 30. So you don't need to then do anything else once you get your answer. That's it. As long as what you've done to the top, you've done to the bottom. Let's have a look at another example here. So we have 0.09 divided by 0.01. Again, a slightly more uncomfortable calculation to do. So if I want to make both of those numbers whole, I need to multiply the top by 100 and the bottom by 100. So that ends up being 9 over 1, which is just 9. 9 over 1 is a very easy calculation as opposed to 0.09 over 0.01. Okay. Last example, it's written like this right now, but I would rather it look like this. Okay, so make it a fraction first. That's the first thing. Second of all, I need a multiple of 10 to get both of these numbers whole. So I know that the top one I could multiply by 10 to get it whole. The bottom one I could multiply by 100 to get it whole. But the rule of equivalent fraction told us what you do to the top you must do to the bottom. So I can't choose two different numbers to multiply by. So that means whatever the largest is the one I've got to go with to make them both whole. Remember, the aim of the game is to make them both whole. So the top number becomes 250, the bottom number just becomes 5. So 250 divided by 5 is just 50. Okay, have a practice. Thanks, guys.